My name is Michael. I'm 68 years old. And you know what's strange? When I was young, I thought that after 60, life was basically over. Now I understand. It just becomes quieter, deeper, more honest. I was born in a small American town, the kind where everybody knows your last name before they know your first. I went to school here, fell in love for the first time here, got my first job here. I was never the smartest kid in class, never had any special talent, but I had steady hands and a strong back, and sometimes that's enough. After the army, I got a job at a barber shop. At the time, I told myself it was temporary. I'd save up, move to a bigger city, maybe Chicago, maybe Dallas, open my own place, build something impressive, become someone important. Time has a way of smiling at plans like that. I married Emily when I was 23. She wasn't loud or dramatic. She didn't need to be. She had this quiet strength that made you feel safe just standing next to her. She believed in me more than I believed in myself. When our son Daniel was born, my dreams changed shape. Suddenly I wasn't thinking about big cities. I was thinking about diapers, mortgage payments, and how to keep the lights on. I worked longer hours, picked up extra shifts, told myself it was all for the family. Our barbershop was small, 2 chairs, black and white floor tiles, a long mirror with a thin crack running down the side. The air always smelled like shaving cream and aftershave. It wasn't fancy, but it was honest. Through those 2 chairs, I watched life happen. I cut the hair of boys before they shipped off to the military. They laughed loudly, but their eyes gave them away. I cut the hair of men before their weddings. They tried to look confident, but their knees bounced nervously under the cape. I cut the hair of older men before hospital visits. They didn't say much. Sometimes silence says more than words ever could. And I listened. People tell their barbers things they don't tell anyone else. Maybe it's because we're standing behind them. Maybe it's because they don't have to look us in the eye. At 35, life reminded me how fragile everything is. Emily got sick. It wasn't something that would make headlines, but it was long, exhausting, the kind of sickness that slowly drains both the patient and the family. I worked during the day, sat beside her hospital bed in the evenings. At night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, thinking about all the times I rushed through conversations, all the "I'll tell her tomorrow" moments. She recovered, and I promised myself I wouldn't live on autopilot anymore. But promises are easy. Habits are harder. Daniel grew up faster than I expected. I was always working for him, but not always there, with him. I missed a few baseball games, a couple of school plays. I told myself he'd understand someday. When he turned 22, he told us he was moving overseas for work. Better opportunities, bigger future. I nodded, said I was proud, but inside I felt something collapse quietly. The house became quieter after he left. Calls became shorter. "Everything's good, Dad." Time zones made it complicated. Life made it busier. And then about 5 years ago, a young man walked into my shop who changed something in me. He was maybe 24, restless, anxious. He sat in the chair and said, "I need a change. I'm tired of feeling stuck." As I clipped and trimmed, he started talking. He wanted to start his own business. His friends thought it was risky. His parents told him to keep his stable job. He was scared of failing. I saw myself sitting in that chair. I cleared my throat and said something I didn't even know I had been holding inside for decades. "Stability is a good thing," I told him, "but sometimes it becomes a cage, and in 30 years you won't lie awake thinking about the times you failed. You'll think about the times you never tried." He didn't say much, just nodded. A year later, he came back, different energy, straighter posture. He had opened a small coffee shop downtown. It wasn't huge, but it was his. He looked at me and said, "You probably don't remember what you told me, but it mattered." That was the first time I realized something important. You never know when you become a turning point in someone else's story. A few years after that, I lost Emily. It was autumn, leaves falling quietly outside the hospital window. There was no dramatic final speech, just a soft goodbye and a hand I didn't want to let go of. Coming home to an empty house was the hardest part. I would cook too much food out of habit, set 2 plates on the table before realizing, leave the hallway light on at night, because the silence felt heavier in the dark. Grief doesn't scream forever. Eventually, it settles into something quieter, something you carry instead of something that crushes you. In the park, watching people live their lives, young couples arguing over small things, teenagers laughing too loud, elderly couples walking slowly, hands intertwined like they'd figured out something the rest of us were still learning. And here's what I've learned at 68. Life isn't about becoming famous. It's not about the size of your house. It's not about how many people know your name. It's about whether you noticed the moments that mattered. Daniel calls more often now. Sometimes we talk for an hour. Sometimes he asks for advice. Sometimes we just sit in comfortable silence on the phone. He wants me to visit. I think I might. Maybe it's never too late to choose differently. I don't work full-time anymore. My hands aren't as steady. My back aches in the mornings. But every now and then I stop by the barber shop, sit in the corner, and watch the younger guys work. They move fast. They talk about investments, startups, big plans. I smile. I didn't build an empire. I didn't travel the world. I didn't make a fortune. But I built a life, a real one, with mistakes, with love, with regret, with quiet pride. And if you're young and reading this, let an old barber tell you something simple. Say, I love you while you still can. Take the risk if your heart won't let you sleep without it. Don't trade all your time for money. You can earn money back. Time doesn't come back. Sometimes the strongest people aren't the loudest ones. They're the ones who show up every day, do their work with dignity, and keep going, even when no one is watching. My name is Michael. I'm just an ordinary barber from a small town, but inside me live hundreds of stories, and maybe that's more than enough.